to control your emotions' strength of not reacting. Everyone can have a hard time controlling their emotional responses sometimes. It's part of being mortal. But if it happens constantly, these regulation tools may help. It can be a delicate generality to grasp, knowing that nearly all circumstances and events that be will be outside of our control. The verity is, there are too multitudinous factors in the world for us to be suitable to control and predict everything. Rather, we can only come alive of our capabilities to adjust our prospects and emotional responses. Doing so still is an important accomplishment. It's commodity that can help you substantiation more peace on a quotidian base, as well as lower stress and lower bummers. You are going about a typical day when commodity changes. Suddenly, you feel overwhelmed, anxious, or out of control of your passions. Perhaps you have heard the usual tone help advice, like pause and take a breath, and the not so helpful advice like just control yourself. Yet ever, you still feel like your passions are in the automobilist seat while you are sitting passenger. When this happens, it can help to flash back your heartstrings are there for a reason. There is no analogous thing as a bad emotion. However, try to find appreciativeness for your heartstrings, as they contain precious information. If possible, however, try to drink all passions as your friend, if you can. It's possible to learn how to effectively manage your passions with some practice, a numerous therapist-backed strategies, and possibly professional support. 1. Self-care. Introductory functions because of lack of sleep. Increased stress and loneliness can be crippled as a result of the epidemic. To have a healthy relationship with your passions, the key is to keep your supervisor function system healthy, and that starts with self-care. The impact of sleep and stress on your supervisor functions. It has been shown that a lack of sleep can vitiate tone regulation, meaning you may have lower control over your responses to your passions, which is why you are snappy when you are tired. Sometimes, your negative passions can keep you from falling asleep, creating a vicious cycle further promoting the problem. This can also be with stress, meaning having a healthy stress reduction system can also help your supervisor functions. So what's the result? Find exertion you enjoy and incorporate them into your quotidian routine, like journaling and exercise. 2. Validate your passions first. When you find yourself riding the swell of emotion, it's important not to dismiss those heartstrings. Passions can be a lot like unruly children in need of attention. Once we validate them, we allow them to be seen and have a voice. Feeling our passions is an important part of life. It's what we do with them that can produce problems. For illustration, if you are feeling jaded, sad, or lonely, you tend to turn to food for comfort. This generally does not end well. As you gain weight, you also feel indeed worse because now your tone regard suffers. Leaning into your passions rather of deadening them with food will come huge part of the process. When we validate our passions, we come more alive and accepting of them, and we begin to understand where they come from. It's only in this place of awareness that we can see what power they may hold over us. 3. Don't reply, respond. We have all had those moments when you feel overwhelmed with emotion. Those who act out without thinking may say commodity they may lament subsequently. So, what can you do when you have a huge emotion? Learn to respond rather than reply. When you respond to your emotion, you take alternate to admit what you are feeling. As you substantiation emotion rising in the body, pause. Learn to deliberately respond rather than suddenly reply. This simple act gives you a chance to more express yourself and communicate how you are feeling. We can more align with our values when we understand how to tone regulate. We can meet challenges when they face us, view obstacles as openings, persist through difficulties, and take charge of our lives. By taking time to suppose about what you will say before you say it, predicated on how you are feeling in that moment, you can help others more understand you. 4. Take deep breaths. Take a deep breath might feel like a simple platitude, but it actually activates the parasympathetic nervous system, which helps calm high, arousal negative passions, like anxiety or outrage. So breathing deeply is pivotal when it comes to managing our farther challenging passions, because the brain has a harder time making good. rational opinions when passions are in the automobilist seat. We are also likely to make better opinions if we take numerous deep breaths first. So when passions start to feel inviting, pause, take a couple of deep breaths, and bring those violent passions down a bit so you can precisely choose what to do next. 5. Keep a mood journal. Writing down or codifying up your heartstrings and the responses they spark can help you uncover any disruptive patterns. Sometimes, it's enough to mentally trace passions back through your studies. Putting heartstrings onto paper can allow you to reflect on them more deeply. It also helps you recognize when specific circumstances, like trouble at work or family conflict, contribute to harder. 2. Control passions. Relating specific triggers makes it possible to come up with ways to manage them more productively. Journaling provides the most benefit when you do it daily. Keep your journal with you and jot down violent passions or heartstrings as they be. Try to note the triggers and your reaction. However, use your journal to explore further helpful possibilities for the future if your response did not help. 6. The power of words. Another pivotal factor in the cycle of meaning is what words you use. What do you feel when someone says that you are incorrect? What about if they say you are wrong? Chances are that you do not feel truly good, no matter your position of emotional control. And that's you just allowing about it, not it actually passing. It's a small illustration, but it illustrates just how vital words are to how we make meaning, and thus what we feel. This is why Tony has people suppose about the words they are in the habit of using, especially if they're trying to make major life changes. Whatever words you attach to your experience come your experience. 7. Accept people as they are. There can be a possibility that your perception is not wrong. Perhaps people are being mean to you. Their behavior justifies your emotional response, but in utmost liability. Your emotional response will not help you and your pretensions. Rather, responding to a person calmly will be of immense help. To be suitable to do so, it's important to accept people as they are. This will help your mind contrive ways to deal with the other person more. 8. Understand that both negative and positive passions are essential. Humans like to express joy, excitement, and love, but it may feel like the right thing to push down negative passions. You may have been raised on the idea that showing outrage, shame, or frustration was a no-no, so you push down these heartstrings. Bottling up your passions won't make them go down. By fact, they will most presumably only get worse. Suppressed passions can contribute to internal health conditions like anxiety or depression. Repel the temptation to hide or withhold your negative passions. Negative passions like sadness or outrage are as equally significant to your internal health as are positive heartstrings. They give you information about what's important to you and what you might need to change about yourself or your terrain. 9. Sensitive grounding. When passions are running grandly, it may feel delicate to stay present in your body or physical environment. However, try to tune into your 5 senses to stay rested, if possible. This can include any number of grounding strategies, like splashing cold water on your face, singing or humming, or using a fashion called progressive muscle relaxation. The swish exercise is called the 5-4-3-2-1 fashion. The swish way to do this exercise is 5 goods you can see, 4 goods you can touch, 3 goods you can hear, 2 goods you can smell, 1 thing you can taste. Once you go through the exercise, you have handed yourself with some distraction from your stressor and allowed your parasympathetic nervous system to protest in. 10. Identify what you are feeling. Taking a moment to check in with yourself about your mood can help you begin gaining back control. And whenever you are feeling something all of a sudden, always make sure that you intrude yourself by asking, "What am I feeling right now? Disappointed? Confused? Furious? What happened to make me feel this way? They brushed me off with no explanation. Does the situation have a different explanation that might make sense? Perhaps they are stressed, sick, or dealing with commodity differently they do not feel comfortable explaining. They might plan to explain further when they can. What do I want to do about these passions? Scream. Vent my frustration by throwing effects. Textbook back commodity rude. Is there a better way of managing with them? Ask if everything's okay. Ask when they are free next. Go for a walk or run. So this is all for today's video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Turn on the notification bell so that you get notified as soon as we upload a video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in next one.